Hi everyone, and welcome to yet another at a glance episode. And as always, I'm going to kick things off with a quick update. Um, so mental health wise, last week that I faced some difficult moments. Um, Most of which I'm not going to actually dive into here because one, I don't want to, and two, because it's not really needed, given that I've talked about most of those things with various ones in my support system. Um, yet despite those difficult moments, that I still found a profound pull to help someone who has wronged me in the past in one way or another. I'll talk more about that later on in this week's episode. Um, and that will be like a focal point. In this week's episode. I guess in like a way, because it's going to help shape, the way that I choose the topics for this week's episode, leading up to that moment. And I do think that there is something that can be gained and learned from that. And as I'm talking about that moment, you will understand why. Speaking of my mental health, I'm also learning on working to not let different things get me worked up or get me to overly worry. I'm also working on and showing that I'm no longer like anyone's scapegoat, you know. Are the a reason for them choosing to do something that would hurt someone else. It's really important, to me, that I'm not that cause or a reason, anymore, so that means letting go of the drama, not starting things, not creating arguments, doing my best not to argue with someone when that's what they're looking for, so with that being said, that I do seriously refuse to give anyone that kind of power like over me anymore. Like, I mean, the days of like just like allowing that, are, I hope can be like a thing of the that I hope can be a thing of the past. Um, far as like edits on the memoir goes, like I do plan to like narrow down like to like a do like list on the things that I have to get done in order for it to get put out across like multiple like platforms, um or I should probably say like multiple formats. And it's like I have to do my own part to ensure that for amount of the profits that are made from my memoir that they are donated to various organizations that have focus on mental health. Um, I have to also ensure that a portion of the profits are used to help fund items, you know, that have the ultimate goal of spreading more more awareness on mental health. My focus in this venture is not to make a personal profit, but instead to help spread mental health awareness. And with that being said, you know, there may be like a week or two this month where I either release a very short like episode for my podcast, or I choose to do like a few shorts that week, instead of doing like an episode at all for my podcast. Um, but those are things that I will play by ear, and definitely if you don't see like a podcast episode from me launched by the end of the week, then just know that there is likely one that will come the following week. It's just that I have like a lot of things that I'm trying to like focus on, and to get done like over the course of the next month. But without a doubt, I will definitely have the weekly inspirational quotes. That I won't stop that. It's just that there's like a lot that goes into doing like each of the podcast like episodes. So that's why that you may not see one like every single week next month, but don't worry. I should be back on the a regular schedule um, for the month of June. And in other news, as a recap, my son had his spring concert last week. I am happy to say that it was very entertaining, especially with watching him do everything that he could to kind of like still like the show, especially in the dancing moments. You know, uh, because there's like at one point where that he wasn't like in the front, so he was like behind, like not be that he was behind like another kid, and he was virtually like blocked, but I know, but he made sure that he was definitely seen and like noticed, uh, doing the uh dance moves for that number. Um, by far my favorite part of the whole concert was when all of the grade L levels had got together to do an old song uh, at by in sync called Bye Bye Bye. And if you know that song, like, there's like a crucial moment where you go from one side to the like other side of like the stage, and and just like watching him just like like dance it out, and definitely make sure that everybody saw him do like the like moves, you know. Um like yeah, like I mean it's like that was like by far like my favorite part of the whole and of the whole concert. Um so I do want to say that I do have something special planned for my mom for Mother's Day next month, and she's been trying to get me to like give her like hints or to like flat out say like what it is, but I'm not, and I know that like bothers me. And she even thought that she could somehow get a clue or a hint from my younger sister. But I already told her, it's like I didn't even tell her, because I already know that nobody, that's in our immediate circle, can actually keep a secret when it comes to something like this. So, so yeah. So I haven't told like anybody. I mean, the only one that who who knows, like other than the individual who I'm working with, like on this, is my loctician. You know, and maybe my husband. I'm not really sure if I told him yet or not. But anyway, that is like my point. It's like I'm trying to keep this like as as close knit and tighter lipped as I possibly can. You know, So yeah, so it's like my mom will find out in about a couple weeks, like I want to say, like what it like actually like is, and not, and I just hope that she like loves it, because she does so much for like everyone else, and like I kind of think that I really do like owe her, I mean it's I mean it's I mean, it's not like, it's not like every day, somebody can actually say, well, that's a person goes like above and like beyond, and they should be like recognized, or they should have like they should have, something special, like a special day, or I can say that like about my mom, I mean, my mom helps out like everyone, I mean, even the ones that she doesn't, like really like know, I mean, that she's always been like that, and perhaps that's for that I get my like want and need to help like others, you know. Yeah, So I guess like apple doesn't really fall too far from the tree. Yeah. Um. Yes, I know that is a line from a Levert song. Yes, but it's also very true too. And that I'm not sure if I've mentioned this yet, like in a previous like episode or not. Um, but I also want to get like a T-shirt made, with the same personal quote that I have on my headband. You know, that will be in my memoir once it gets out. Um, the exact same personal quote that I have at the end of every single mental health video and every single podcast like episode. Um, you know, like, because to me, like that personal quote, it's like that, that it helps us think, you know, like, for one, like about like a mental health, like it brings like brings like awareness to it, but it also could be that little spark, when when we're when we're having a bad day or going through a really rough time, you know. Um. So now, quick content warning. Some of the focal points will include direct or indirect, re religious like references. So I just want that to be known, just in case anyone who's watching this like episode, that they're not really like religious, or they don't, like but like leaving God, like I'm just letting you guys know that now. There's always no judgment, but I just have to let you guys know that, so that way that you're not caught like off guard. And now to kick things off, um, the first main topic of this week's episode is the hard truth is, so many things go unnoticed in life. Well, what I mean is this: small achievements can float under our radar, and if we're not careful, there are certain milestones that we can miss that child makes, such as the first steps or their first words, or them learning how to properly use a spoon or a fork for the first time, or their first laugh, like moments that we can't get back. Um, we can miss, those rare things in life, that don't always show up, such as more than one red or cardinal bird flying together. We can miss out on flowers blooming, or baby bird learning to fly for the very first time. We can miss spotting a rainbow and the spotting a rainbow in the sky, because we're so focused on other things that are either happening around us or that are happening in our lives. We can miss the true meaning of life, as stated in one of the tracks, Forrest Frank's album, it's Child of God. Many things can go missed, when our focus is either pulled in multiple directions, or in the wrong direction. All in all, it's just something to think about. So, the second main topic of this week's episode is the hard truth is that can be difficult to practice self-care. Now, I'm sure there are many out there who are listening to this and they're like, well, it's not that hard, it's I do it all the time, okay, but do you really? Think about it. For that reason that I want to ask you, when is the last time that you did something that can honestly be looked at as self-care? Meaning that it wasn't something that you did, just to help out somebody else, you know. Um, but if the thing you do to help out somebody else is what you do to relax or to feel better, then it does count. But if it's not the case, then it's not truly self-care, you know? I know in therapy, they often ask us to start off small by making a commitment to practice self-care once a week. And oftentimes that I find that it is far easier, to help out someone else or to do something for someone else than it is to do something for myself or my own mental well being in the midst of a stressful time. I'm not saying that I want you guys to go out there and to to be selfish. I'm not saying that by any means. But what I am saying is this. We can hope we can't hope to help others realistically if we don't first ensure that we are okay. Even if only on the smallest level. It's possible. That's why they always say, to put on our oxygen mask first, before helping someone else with theirs, because it's how can we help out them if we are struggling, if we cannot breathe, then how can we help them breathe, you know? And now, I guess you could kind of say that I saved the best for a loss, but this last main topic this week that it talks about what that I mentioned in my mental health update. So with that being said, the last main topic of this week's episode is the hard truth is helping those who have wronged us. After all, I did want to focus on an uplifting a moment this week, that I mentioned earlier. With that, I'm going to talk about the profound pull that I felt to help someone, despite them having wronged me in the past. I think it's worth mentioning that it's something that I feel God would have done. I remember uh, growing up, and my mom telling me, that that God blesses those at who who help out others, and in the same uh breath as telling me that, she would also say this: that when we help others, that it's important that our heart is sincere, meaning that we choose to help them with no strings attached. It's that we help them because it's the right thing to do, and not because we hope to get something back out of it. Moving on along, I know I spoke to someone about what I wanted to do, that would benefit someone who they pointed out had done me wrong, in the past, and how I should reconsider, or at least think about reconsidering what I wanted to do. Sadly, I have to admit that initially, that stopped me right in my tracks, and it made me feel like, why should I try to do anything at all? But then again, it's like, what does the voice of one individual have to do with how that I feel, about doing something, about my reasoning, right? So, unexpectedly, the next day, God put it on my heart to move forward with my original plan, to help this individual, as helping them to was the right thing to do. Would it mean that my uh pain level could spike up? Yeah, it did. It definitely did mean that could happen. But I also knew, and I still know, that I'm able to help them, despite that. You know, to me, being in a little more pain, is worth it. Is it like I want it? No. But I look at it as it being worth it, because I know I'm doing what is right. I'm doing the right the right thing, and And to me, it's like that military like mindset again. I know, like also, it's like that. There's like a mission that has to be done. Like there's a job that has to be done. Now are you going to sit on your behind, and just watch this not get done or not get handled, you know, because you're worried about all these like other things? Or are you going to do what actually needs to be done? And well, to be quite honest, like the the good in me, and the soldier like in me wants to make sure that the right thing is done, regardless, you know? So I couldn't just sit by and do nothing at all. It's the kind of thing that you look at and that you ask yourself, what would Jesus do? Or what would God do, if they were here? In all honesty, yes, they are with us like always. But if they were physically here, like that, if that it were them, and they were walking by, or they saw this, what would they do? What would their like actions be? And I know right off the back that their like actions would be to go ahead and to do what they knew was actually right, to go ahead and to help this other person out, because that's the right thing to do, so what if they wronged you, you know? I mean, and yes, we were told, to turn the other cheek. And I do realize, so we only have two cheeks. Alright? So don't try to dive like too like deep like into that statement. But at the exact same time, like you're all going to help them out, at the exact same time, like the best thing we can do for anybody who has like wronged us is to help them out, because guess what, you know, I mean that that's that's something, that God is going to look down and he's going to smile upon, like like I believe that there's like a reason, why that's said, that our enemies will come our will be come our footstool. Like I think there's like a reason that is said. Because guess what? Uh, Kindness can rip through evil. You know, like in the day, like I think the best thing we can possibly do, is to put our differences like off to the wayside. And just to do what we know in our heart is actually the right thing to do. And God put that on my heart to do, despite what that individual had done to me, like in the past, so despite like all the hurt that they caused me, you know, I mean, that God took like a one look at what was like going on and basically said, Sam, you know what you gotta do. You know what the right thing to do is. You know, and don't let anybody try to change your mind. Don't let anybody try to change your heart. Don't let anybody try to take off your heart what I put there for you to do for someone else. And I know that was nothing but God. Nothing but God. Because I can honestly, like, say, like, that I let, like, those differences, like, get to me, guess what? I wouldn't have budged. I wouldn't have moved to do the right thing. I wouldn't have moved to go help. You know? I mean, that I wouldn't have. You know, so that's why I know that was nothing but God. You know? You know, that God pushed me and God spoke to me. You know? To go help them, to go help this individual out, you know, because it was the right thing to do. It was the right thing to do, you know. So I want to, so I won't it to out. So I want to challenge you, you know. Um, you know, I mean, you know, if you know that something is the right thing to do, you know, and you know that everybody else is just like walking away or like saying, "Oh well, you know, like somebody else will get to this, somebody else can get to that," you know, and you know it's the right thing to do, and you know that you are like able to do that right thing, then I would say, yeah, go ahead and go do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, despite what anybody else thinks, like, despite what anybody else says, you know? Because, as mentioned, and that same album, a child of God, you know, it's that we only have one life. You know, we only get one life while we are here on Earth. You know, and we have to make the most of it. You know, we have to look at what is important. And, you know, is it the things that I have? You know, or is it like the lives that I can touch? You know, is it the ones that I can then go out and actually help? You know, is it the good that I can do while that I'm still here? You, you know? Um, so yeah, so that is definitely something to think about. It's definitely is also something that I think that inspiration can be drawn out from, you know? Um, but yeah, you know? Um, you know, like usually like I have like this long like a list of things that I want to say like the end of like a video, but no, like I think that enough has already been said. Um, so with that, I want to say that this concludes this week's episode. And as always, until next time, I hope everyone has a safe and a wonderful week.